Thank you. Welcome to today's event, Building a Connected Content and E-Commerce Ecosystem. Today's event will discuss how distributors and manufacturers can unify their digital ecosystem through integrated product content and ERP-driven e-commerce. We'll walk through the key benefits of connecting a robust product content with seamless ERP integration. Why now is the time to future-proof your e-commerce strategy. Today's presenters are Mr. Rob Dallas, Action Distribution Industry Expert, and Unilog's Business Development Executive, Nick Hildebrand. At the end of the presentation, we'll have time to answer any of your questions. And as always, this will be recorded. So if it's something you think you may have missed or maybe a question you want to go back to, you can always watch that on our YouTube within 24 to 48 hours afterwards. And as always, if you need to schedule a demo or find out more information, I will be gladly giving you each of these gentlemen's contact info at the end of the presentation. So you can reach out to them to learn more information about the Action story and how Action integrates with Unilog for your business. Now, without any further ado, I will send it off to our experts, Rob Dallas and Nick Hildebrand. Take it away.
Thanks, Jason. Welcome, everyone. Do a brief agenda review here before I toss it over to Nick. As far as what we're going to cover today, we're going to discuss a little bit of the partnership between Action and Unilog, the why now, the future of e-commerce, the value of connected content commerce solution, why ERP integration is critical, and then a high-level process for onboarding and implementation. So with that, let me go ahead and go to the next one. Nick, I will throw it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for the Action team for putting this webinar together and everyone for attending. So just to start things off, why e-commerce? Why does e-commerce matter to you? Why should you care about it? In short, the answer to that question is it increases your online revenue, it increases your customer loyalty, and at the same time, it's driving your cost per transaction down. To explore that a little further, it increases your online revenue, you're gaining new customers. Now that you have an e-commerce website, you have an online presence. You are appearing in search results. You're finding new customers that previously have not shopped with you. For increasing customer loyalty, you're making it easier for your current customers to purchase online from you. You're giving them B2B specific tools like the ability to pay invoices, quick order pads, the ability to create favorites list, all these features that make you their preferred vendor. At that same time, there's an inverse relationship with cost per transaction. So as your customers start to buy online, they're self-servicing. So every order that they place on your website is one less order that your team is manually entering, which drives down the margin of error. So no longer do your sales reps have to translate some poorly written email into an order or take an order over the phone. Your customers are entering exactly what they need online, driving that cost per transaction down, and you're saving money on every single order. So to illustrate that fact, we've built this digital maturity model, and the digital maturity model enables you to identify where you currently stand in your digital journey and give you a path forward and a vision to the future and where you can be a couple months or a year down the line. So looking at the first level of this digital maturity model, that is your static website. It's likely a brochure site. It may have a couple static pages, maybe your locations, maybe your contact us page and a brief company overview. At this point, you don't really have any executive buy-in. Your executive team doesn't care about e-commerce at all. You are likely making 0 to 1% of your entire revenue is coming from e-commerce. Level 2 is a step up in that digital maturity model. Your customers have basic order entry capabilities, so they can add items to cart, they can check out, they can buy from you online. But that's really where it stops. There's no added functionality. They don't have a customer portal where they can log in and pay invoices. They can simply buy from you online. At this point, you still don't really see a lot of executive buy-in. There's probably one person in the company that manages the website and about 5 less than 5% of your revenue is coming from online. Next is level 3, the self-service machine. So it has everything that level 2 has, right? The basic order entry, add to cart, checkout. But this is really when you start seeing, customer adoption, customers logging onto your site to use the customer portal and pay invoices, create favorites lists. You're creating promotions for your customers. You're starting to view your website as a revenue generating asset. The executive team might even be buying into the site at this point. You may have a dedicated e-commerce team, or at least more than one person running the site. Maybe you have someone from your marketing team who's running promotions on the site. And typically at this point, we see 5 to 20% of your revenue is coming from your e-commerce site. And then we get into level 4 and 5. So that's where we see the leaders in B2B e-commerce. If you think of Grainger, Ferguson, Wesco, these guys are on the higher end of level 4, level 5. Their e-commerce is seamlessly integrated into their physical locations. They have executive buy-in. They have dedicated e-commerce teams, and they're doing 20% of their sales, over 20%, even up to 40% of their revenue is coming from e-commerce. So just take a second to think where you currently stand in your e-commerce journey using this chart, and where you see yourself in the coming months or years. So next, just to give a quick overview of Unilog's product line, we have CX1 e-commerce, which is actually a suite of products. We have e-commerce products that are tailored to specific customers' needs. For example, we have a CX1 Essentials product. I would put that in level 2 of the digital maturity model. It's aimed at customers who just want to get pricing and availability up with an ERP connection. Maybe they want their customers to even be able to add to cart and check out. We also have our CX1 Sim 2 e-commerce product, which is what we'll be diving in the next slide. That is our enterprise level e-commerce product, all-in-one e-commerce product with purpose-built B2B features like invoice payment and so forth. CX1 product content to the right here. So we have 10 million fully enriched SKUs in our SKU library, and we source that product data directly from the manufacturers. So we're talking, rich descriptions, images, documents, spec sheets, features, specifications. So all of those SKUs are fully enriched, ready to load onto your website or syndicate across your channels. CX1 PIM on the bottom left here, that is our native PIM product. That is where our 10 million SKUs are stored. So if you subscribe to our product content, CX1 PIM is the product you would use to export that data and syndicate it across your channels. Next is CX1 Connect, and that is essentially our middleware product, which is baked into our other products. So CX1 Connect allows us to connect to ERPs, payment gateways, tech partners, and so on. So again, we're going to dive into a couple of these. With CX1 e-commerce in that product suite I mentioned, we're going to go over that enterprise e-commerce product, CX1 Sim 2. Again, it's an all-in-one e-commerce solution. Out of the box, the standard functionality of the product we see usually covers about 99% of the use cases we see for wholesale distribution. If that's not the case, if you have a custom workflow, we have what's called an extensibility layer that allows us to build custom features for you and slap it right on top of that standard functionality, base functionality. Again, it's purpose-built. We have purpose-built features. We understand how your customers buy. Things like quick order pad to allow them to quickly enter the part numbers and quantity they need into the cart, rather than searching or navigating through 20 items at a time just to add to the cart. The ability to pay invoices, view order history, the list goes on. Again, it's readily connected to the ERP for live pricing and availability, order management. It's readily available for product data. So when I talked about those 10 million SKUs with the enriched product data, CX1 Sim 2 is ready to accept tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. We've had customers with over 1 million SKUs on their website. And that's all supported by Unilog continuously. So we have 24/7 support, not only with CX1 Sim 2, but with all of our products. We have a learning management system with tons of training, documentation, and videos. And then we have our partner network. People like Aktion that have years of experience in B2B e-commerce, not only industry experience, but they have Unilog experience. They have staff that has formerly worked at Unilog for years that understand our products. Next is CX1 Connect. Again, this is our middleware product. This is how we connect to your ERP. This is how we connect to your payment gateways, your marketing, CRMs like HubSpot and Salesforce, shipping, tax, any social media, and then again, our tech partners, if you see the bottom right here. For example, CartStack is a partner that deals with cart abandonment. So if one of your customers adds items to the cart and then closes their tab or logs out, CartStack attempts to recover that cart and recover that revenue. Next is CX1 product content. Again, we have over 10 million fully enriched SKUs in our CX1 PIM. They are sourced directly from the manufacturer, so we take the legwork away from you and we handle all of that product enrichment. We have pre-built industry-specific taxonomies. So all of those items are categorized into taxonomies that are specific to the verticals that you sell. For example, we cover HVAC and refrigeration. We cover lumber and building materials, plumbing and hardware, decorative plumbing, the list goes on. We also have custom content services. So if you need a custom taxonomy design, if you have data that needs cleansing or normalization, or just data to be enriched, we also cover that. So speaking of product content, why is it important? I feel like e-commerce is always looked upon as the favorite here, and product content is kind of overlooked. But the truth is that product content fuels e-commerce. It fuels the features that are available on e-commerce. The first thing about product content is it enhances the customer experience. I think we all see this in our daily lives when we're shopping, whether you're shopping for clothes, shoes, golf clubs, whatever it is. If you're on maybe a sketchy looking site, the product has one grainy image, it doesn't have a good description, it doesn't have any specifications, more than likely you're going to turn away from that site and find a site that has better product content. The same applies to B2B wholesale. The next benefit of having rich product content is it increases your findability online. Google and other search engines love detail. So if they see that your site has rich descriptions, multiple images, specifications for products, you are going to rank higher than your competitors who do not have that rich product content. It also reduces the rate of returns. So your customers know exactly what they're buying. There's no doubt in their mind they're going to add this item to cart. There's less of a chance that they're going to have to initiate a return because you have that rich product content and they know what they're buying. With increased upselling and cross-selling opportunities, this product content allows you to link items together. And again, I think we see this in our daily lives when we shop on Amazon. You add an item to a cart and it says customers also purchased. These items are required for the install of the item you just added to cart. With Unilog, you have the ability to link those items together for cross-selling and upselling opportunities. And overall, you're just increasing your customer's experience and you're making it easier for them to buy from you. Again, product content is important and it pairs well with e-commerce because it fuels the features on the e-commerce site. If we look at the top right here with the product categories, pipe and tube, valves, if your items aren't categorized correctly, which is product content, that takes away from the ability to shop by category. If you look at the sort by here, we're sorting by manufacturer part number, the ability to sort by different types of part numbers, brand name, even price is supported by product content. If we look at the image on the bottom here, this is what's known as a product family. So one parent item may have multiple child items with different cuts or different lengths or different colors. Product content supports being able to group those items together into product families. It saves your customers time from trying to find that right length or find that right cut or color on the site. And again, to take that even further, it enhances the customer's ability to find items through search and filtering. Obviously, if you're searching on the site, you can only search, your search is only as good as the content you have. If you don't have that an item is 12 inches long, then the customer can't search that attribute because it doesn't exist. So it supports search and it supports the ability for advanced filtering. Kind of the same story as search. It's great to be able to filter by category, by brand, by manufacturer, but it's even better to be able to filter by color, dimensions, height. Without that product content, that's not even possible to filter by those filterable attributes. So this is sort of a case study of one of our customers that drives home the point or the benefit of connected content and e-commerce. This is our customer, Hose of South Texas. They saw, before they signed with Unilog, they had limited backend functionality. They did not have good product content, and that led to little to no online sales and less adoption on their website for new customers. Since integrating with Unilog, they've increased their average order value by 73%. And that ties back to what I was talking about with those linked items. So they were able to utilize the linked item functionality and that product content to increase their average order value through cross-selling and upselling. Almost 50% growth in site traffic. So again, that ties back to the digital maturity model we covered a couple slides ago. As their product content got better and as they elevated their digital maturity, they drove site traffic further because they're ranking higher on Google and other search engines. 5 times sales via search engine traffic, almost a 50% drop of reduction in manual order processing errors. Again, with the digital maturity model, as they elevated their digital strategy, more customers are self-servicing, more customers are buying online, meaning that your team has less errors trying to manually input orders into the ERP. And then faster product updates. So now Hose of South Texas can update product descriptions, update pricing, and have that update on their site in real time. And I'm going to turn it over to Rob here for a couple slides.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I just want to jump in here and again reiterate the importance of a very tight and seamless integration, which Unilog has with our ERPs. Right? And it's important because we want to have one system of record. Right? We want to leverage and extend the key systems to support the B2B features and experience. How many times are your customers calling asking for a price quote? Or do you have product available? Or what is the status of an order? Now they're able to do that self-service on your e-commerce site. And again, it's the one statement of the truth. So we're not going to have pricing discrepancies where a sales rep will get a call and then have to adjust. Then it's different. The price is different than if they called and placed an order versus an e-commerce site. Again, all of that information is real-time, bi-directional synchronization. So then we have, as soon as the order is placed, it's immediately in the system. And then the back-end ERP has visibility of it. And again, your customers are able to do the self-service by seeing that real-time information straight from the ERP. Also, it allows us to access the payment gateways, tax engines, freight, external data sources, and third-party add-ons as well. So why is ERP integration critical in addition to the points that I just mentioned? The ERP doesn't handle content well. Most of the ERPs that we work with, you have a few description fields. We can have product images in some ERPs. We can have an additional limited content, if you will. But we really don't have enough data fields or file support to give your customers that true rich experience that they're used to doing in their personal lives when they're shopping. Right? Be able to handle complex relationships of items. No taxonomy management. And what's that? The ability to have additional categories and subcategories. Where in the ERP, you can have your item classes and maybe a subclass, and that's all we need for most reporting and analysis. But when you have someone shopping, they want to take that multiple levels deeper, right? To be able to find, locate, find, and filter out the items that they're looking for. Right? Again, can't manage subsets of catalogs. So maybe you want to have specific products that are industry specific. So these types of customers, this is what we want to present our company, the products and offerings that we have. And then others can get a different set of products. Struggles to integrate with all sales channels. Again, e-commerce, the print, mobile, etc. So again, very important. And I can't stress enough, we have looked and partnered with many different e-com solutions, and we chose Unilog because of the strength of their solution, their tight integration, and their PIM. Nick, you want to take this one?
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. So to piggyback off what Rob is saying here, why is ERP integration critical? Obviously, the real-time pricing and availability is a huge thing there. But if we look at the last three, customer login, registration, order management, with the ERP integration, you are essentially giving your customers an online portal to buy from you. And not only buy from you, do business with you. Manage their invoices, look at their order history and reorder, use different tools like Quick Order Pad. If it's easier to buy from you than your competitors, the customers are going to buy from you. They don't want to spend time, manually trying to order when they can easily do it online. So to look at a couple of those features that are supported by the ERP integration, we have customer registration and account management. So ERP integration enables your customers to register for the e-commerce site without even having to reach out to you. If you can see in the bottom right corner here, it's a little small, but you see I am a current customer but need an online account right there on the iPhone. That allows your customers to enter their account number, their ERP ID, whatever you want to call it, and register for the site without even having to reach out to you. So they can register right away and start buying from you. You can also set up a new commercial account registration, put a credit application on the site. So customers who don't shop with you yet can fill out a credit application and get approved to start buying from you online. And you also have retail customers. If you want to allow retail customers to register and save their payment info or manage their account, they can do that as well. So once they are registered, again, they can log in and use different features like you see here as a customer portal, view their invoices, their invoice aging summary, manage their inventory. They can schedule orders as a one-time future order or a recurring subscription order. The list goes on. Customer-specific pricing is a huge one. So if you have that customer-specific pricing in your ERP, if you have those negotiated pricing that you have with certain accounts, we can easily connect that from the ERP to the website. So upon login, they're not just seeing your generic pricing, they're seeing their agreed upon accurate pricing. And if you do update that in the ERP, within seconds, it's showing on the site. Next is the ability for your customers to pay on account and use the credit limits that you have set for them in the ERP. So just like customer-specific pricing, we can connect those credit limits. Now, instead of your customers checking out by credit card, they have more purchasing power, they have more flexibility, because they can put that on account and pay it at the end of the month. And to further support that, we have invoice payment online. So your customers can buy on account, and then they can manage and pay their invoices online. And we can pull whatever, credit limits, 15, 30, 45 days, whatever is set in your ERP, and allow your customers to view how those invoices are aging, what's past due. They can set minimum payments amounts. So, the possibilities are endless with invoice payment. And the reason it's important for you guys is it boosts your cash flow. You're getting paid faster. Customers don't want to have to call in and pay and, read a credit card number. they can easily pay online. People want to be able to self-service, and it reduces your internal team's admin tasks. So it frees up your AR team. They don't have to be taking payments. You're getting paid without all of that work on their end. And I think the final slide here on ERP integration is improved customer service. So this feature that you're looking at here on this monitor with the select customer, this is what we call the sales rep or sales manager login. And this enables your sales teams to log into the site as any customer or any user that is currently on your site. So, take this for example. One of your customers reaches out to a sales rep and says, hey, I'd like to place the same order as last week, except minus these 2 items. Now your sales rep can log in as that customer, just go to the order history, find the order they're talking about, select which items they need, and place the order on behalf of the customer. Your sales rep is saving time because they don't have to manually key in the order to the ERP. Your customer is saving time because all they did was make one phone call and say what they wanted. Now the order is getting placed. Everybody wins. And with this sales rep feature, you can log in and shop the site as your customer normally would. You can use any feature that your customer may use. If the customer is having issues on the website, I used to use this when I was on the support team. You can log in as the customer and help them, fix that issue or at least recreate the issue. So very useful feature here for improving customer service. All right, so just to round things out, just a high-level overview of what an implementation with Aktion and Unilog would look like. So if we just come down to the chart here, it would start off with the discovery phase. That initial call with project kickoff, we would gather base requirements from you guys and start the initial ERP connectivity testing. Next would be the initialization. So we would start with the administrative setup, actually start connecting those APIs with the ERP, payment gateway, HubSpot, any type of CRM, and tech partners. Next would be personalization. How do you want the site to look? The look and feel of the site, what coloring, what themes do you want? How do you want the search bar to look? All that good stuff. Next would be UAT, so user acceptance testing. We would test the code and make sure you're ready to go live. And that would be followed by go live. So now you're live, your customers can buy from you. And again, we would continuously support you. So taking a look at the roles and responsibilities of each stakeholder here, we have Aktion. They are in charge of the ERP side of things, so the ERP integration, any custom workflows with the ERP, and training on the ERP side. And again, they are well-versed in not only B2B e-commerce industry, but Unilog products as a whole. And then we have Unilog. We're focused on the e-commerce platform, the content, the product content, any customizations that may be needed on the website, and any training on our e-commerce products. And then we have you, the client. We need a subject matter expert from your end to help us, gather information, whether it's your ERP guru or your product data owner. We need someone to work with, to get approvals from. We're not going to have the site go live without your approvals and making sure it looks the way that you want it to look before we go live. So I think that does it for me. Aktion team, do you guys have anything to add to this?
Excuse me. On our end, I think I'm good on my end. Rob?
Yeah, no, I think that this covers it very well.
Great. All right. Well, we can move on to Q&A.
You know what? I think for right now, between yourself, Nick, and Rob, I think everyone's questions are answered as for now. That was a really great, informative presentation.
Hey, Jason,
Rob, you want to take back these last little bits?
Yeah, Jason, hold on real quick. Nick, one benefit I think I wanted to add, that when you were talking about the sales rep access, logging in as customers,
sure.
I think another benefit to that is, in a lot of cases, we can reduce the ERP count for a customer, because how many of the sales reps, if this is the only function that they're doing within the ERP, the sales reps could do that portion of their responsibility in their customer service via the e-commerce site without having to be a named user in the ERP.
Absolutely. It's a great point.
Go ahead, Jason. Sorry, I just wanted to add that point.
Oh no, that's fine. Rob, you want to finish this out for us today?
Sure. Again, just a couple slides on who Action. Again, there's two parties here. There's the Unilog and Action and a tight partnership. Most of you know who we are. We support your ERPs, whether Infor ERPs, Acumatica, and many other offerings. But we do have a lot of other offerings as well. Right. Again, that's the application consulting. We do have managed services, network and software engineering, website design and development, collaboration, cloud, custom application development, virtualization, security, CRM, web enablement, e-commerce, action link products, and many others. So again, when you have an issue or something comes up, reach out to your account manager. In most cases, we're going to have a solution that we've tried and that we trust, that we would suggest to you. But if not, at least we have the expertise that we can suggest another solution for you. And what makes us unique, we are Infor's largest partner in North America. We partner with leading technology providers like Unilog to transform business operations for our customers, deliver high-value consultative services addressing business process improvement, including industry best practices and innovative technology solutions. And for our ERP implementations, our proprietary lean implementation process ensures a successful go live. I think that covers what I wanted to hit on for Action, Jason.
Yeah, I think you did a great job, Rob. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and taking time out of your busy day. We know your day is packed with lots of meetings, so we're very appreciative of you spending time with us on this Thursday afternoon. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Jason Nackstedt. That's JKNACKSTEDT at action.com. Rob Dallas at RDALLAS at action.com for any questions. And of course, we can give you Nick's contact information as well from Unilog. Book a demo. We can answer any questions, give you some literature, white papers, case studies for you to look over. Reach out. We can handle any question that you can think of. So once again, thank you everyone for coming out with us today and hanging out on this Thursday afternoon. Thank you, Rob from Action. Thank you, Nick from Unilog. And we'll see you next time. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.